The thing your horse might love most about you has nothing to do with what you're doing. No treats, no grooming, no riding, just you, nearby, quiet, not asking for anything. If your instinct is to move past that, don't, because understanding why that's true changes how you read everything else on this list. Horses don't experience enjoyment the way we tend to assume. They don't need enthusiasm. What they're measuring continuously is the texture of the world around them, safe or uncertain, familiar or unknown, settled or charged. Once that's the lens, a lot of what horses love stops being surprising. Here are 6 of them, some you've heard of, some you probably haven't thought about quite this way. Number 6, the absence of pressure. Horses evolved in herds where proximity, not interaction, was the bedrock of relationship. Herd mates don't spend their days in active bonding rituals. Mostly they graze, they stand near each other, they're aware without constantly orienting. That parallel existence, present but not engaged, is the equine default for closeness. When a familiar human enters that space and simply exists in it, reading, doing something unrelated, not directing energy at the horse, something measurable happens. Heart rate settles, ear orientation toward you slows. Research on human-horse interaction has found lower cortisol indicators in horses around familiar people even without direct contact. Just the known presence is enough. So when you're out there half-heartedly scrolling your phone while your horse grazes nearby, you might be doing one of the most useful things you do all week. That's not an excuse for neglect. It's just that we've undervalued presence for a long time, and presence turns out to be something horses actively seek. Number 5, withers grooming, but understood correctly. Most horse people know horses enjoy being scratched at the withers. Fewer understand why it lands differently than scratching anywhere else. The withers is one of the few places a horse genuinely cannot reach itself. It's the scratch that only a trusted other can give. And when it's given, the response isn't just behavioral. Studies measuring heart rate during mutual grooming have found consistent decreases that indicate parasympathetic activation, the nervous system shifting toward rest. The horse isn't just enjoying the sensation, they're being moved, physiologically, toward calm. This is why horses who receive wither scratching before a stressful task sometimes show lower tension indicators than those who didn't. It's not magic, it's neurology. If you're using scratching as a reward, location matters far more than how long you do it. Number 4, the sound of you when you're not trying. Horses are attuned to the emotional content of vocalizations in ways most owners don't fully account for. Not just tone, prosody, the rhythm of how a voice moves, the pacing, what the breath under the words sounds like. Research suggests they distinguish between a relaxed human voice and a tense one without volume as a cue. A quiet voice speaking slowly, the kind of pacing that only comes from genuine calm, not performed calm, signals something to a horse that an enthusiastic but hurried voice doesn't. Individual variation here is real, worth saying. Not every horse is equally drawn to human vocalization, but the ones who are, you'll notice. They stop, they orient. They're not listening for words, they're reading what the voice means. Now, if what we're covering here is opening more questions than it's closing, I've put everything I found into a book called 50 Horse Behaviors Humans Misunderstand. It's linked in the description. Think of it as the extended version of this, the research, the nuance, the things a single video can only touch. If you want to go deeper after this, that's where to go. Number 3, moving air. This one almost never makes lists like this, and it should. Horses have a relationship with wind that's more functional than it looks. A breeze carries scent data, information about what's nearby, what's changed, what might be approaching. For a prey animal, moving air is sensory input that a still environment doesn't offer. And the absence of that input isn't neutral. It's a mild, continuous increase in ambient uncertainty. Watch what happens when a breeze picks up. Ears forward, nostrils working, the whole body lifting slightly. That's not just thermoregulation, that's a horse reading.
On still, hot days, horses will often seek the highest ground available, not just for shade or temperature, but for airflow. If your pasture gives your horse reliable wind exposure, you're offering something most management decisions don't think to account for. Number 2, knowing what comes next. Horses have a sense of time that research consistently underestimates. Studies in equine temporal cognition point to something closer to genuine anticipation than simple conditioned response. They know when feeding is coming. They know when turnout happens. They notice when the schedule breaks. A predictable routine isn't just convenient for the human. It's a source of psychological security for the horse. When the day moves in a familiar pattern, the background level of vigilance drops. The horse doesn't have to monitor for deviation. For an animal whose nervous system is built around threat detection, not having to wonder is no small thing. Worth noting, disrupted routine, even positive disruption, like an unexpected trail ride, can produce low-level stress indicators that owners often misread as attitude or excitement. Most of the time, it's a horse who needed the day to go the way it usually goes. Most of the time, not always. Number 1, a small problem to solve. This is the one that surprises people most. Horses are cognitively active animals. Research on equine memory and learning consistently shows more than the simplified picture we tend to work from. They remember solutions. They approach novel objects with sustained investigative interest. And horses in enriched environments, spaces where something can be manipulated, figured out, varied, show measurably lower stress indicators and fewer repetitive behaviors than horses in barren ones. A horse nosing a treat ball around a paddock isn't just entertained, it's using a mind that's built for more than standing still. There's something in watching a horse get genuinely absorbed in a small problem, focused, deliberate, working at it, that makes it hard to keep underestimating them, which, if you've spent any real time around horses, you already know. Here's what connects all 6 things. None of them are about what you give a horse. They're about what you allow. The familiar presence, the scratch only a trusted other can reach, the unhurried voice, the wind, the predictable day, the small problem with a solution. A horse doesn't need you to perform care. It needs the conditions that let it be what it is. That's a different kind of thing to offer, and a harder one to fake. If this changed how you see your horse, the next video goes even deeper.